happen on my term, but if it does, I won't be chilled.
Thank the John.
Okay, hold on. I just want to give a little bit of perspective on this, okay? I know that, listen, I hate Hillary Clinton more than anybody else here, okay? Everybody in my chat knows that I hate Hillary Clinton more than anyone else here. But I think this whole hearing is probably bullshit. So let me try to say what the FBI director just said like a million times that people don't seem to be understanding. The FBI's job was to go in and try to see if Hillary Clinton was committing a criminal act of what, espionage? If she intentionally was removing files from secured systems with the intent to disseminate that information to hostile actors or anybody, I guess, that shouldn't have that information, right? What the FBI's investigation was to determine was whether that had happened. So the FBI did their investigation. The FBI decided that kind of activity did not take place. So the FBI hasn't cleared her of all wrongdoing. What the FBI has done is the FBI has said, hey, she didn't do this particular criminal act. Now, if there are other consequences that should befall her in terms of should her security clearances be revoked, should she suffer some kind of penalty at her job, those are questions for, I guess, the State Department, or maybe not even the DOJ, but like the State Department has to determine that. But what this hearing is asking for, or at least the Republican side of the hearing, what they're asking for is, we want you guys to come and fuck up Hillary in ways that overstep your jurisdiction. The only thing the FBI can do here is, in their investigation, is recommend charges to the DOJ if they feel like she has committed the criminal act of intentionally hiding information with the intent to disseminate it to bad people, right? Now, if she was negligent to some extent, now they're saying that she wasn't grossly negligent, but if she was negligent to some extent and fucked up the handling of classified information, which they've said she has, that's not for the FBI to prosecute. That's not for the FBI to recommend the DOJ press criminal charges against. It's just not the FBI's place to do that. I think that's ultimately what Comey is saying here, and it seems like nobody can understand that. Like, they keep asking Comey to step in and do something on behalf of the DOJ or State Department, but that's not his job to do it. And based on what's happened in terms of prosecutions over the past 100 years of people that have done similar things, criminal charges just haven't been brought against people in these kinds of circumstances for mishandling classified information. So I think that's Comey's whole point. So it seems like, Destiny, what does the FBI do then having the information? Well, that's the thing, nothing. The FBI did their investigation, and it seems like what the FBI determined was Hillary Clinton is a fucking idiot, and she did a lot of stupid things, but there are no criminal charges here that the FBI can recommend the DOJ go after. Like, that's what's going on. So this idea that, so I don't know what the point of this hearing is. I don't know what the point of the hearing is. I don't know what the point of any of this is, because nothing will come from this. Like, I don't understand what the can't they turn the information to a third party? Maybe, but like, the whole point is that the FBI did their job, and now the FBI is done with it. That's it. The FBI was only there to determine whether or not a criminal investigation is necessary or would recommend one to the DOJ, and they did their job and they said no. And honestly, based on everything that Comey guy says, I don't know anything about him. He sounds like a pretty honest dude, and he is being pretty transparent, and he has said some pretty scathing things about Hillary insofar as her being very tech unsavvy and being very careless and negligent with her shit. The Comey guy, I think, has defended himself more than adequately against these people. It seems like a lot of these congressmen keep asking the same questions and aren't understanding. I wish that Comey would would specifically use the word jurisdiction and specifically mention that other departments need to step in now and deal with it, or the State Department or the DOJ if they want to. But the FBI's job is done here. The FBI doesn't exist to run around and play, I don't know, if you worked for the NSA or if you worked for the CIA or whatever, you wouldn't expect the FBI to come in and do internal discipline for you. Like, that's not how it works. Like, The FBI's jurisdiction is done here. They were only here to determine whether or not they should recommend criminal charges to the DOJ. That was the FBI's job. Based on everything that's happened in the past in similar circumstances, and based on their investigation, they've decided no, they're not going to recommend criminal charges, and then that's it. The FBI's job is done. If you think that something should happen to Hillary, which I personally do, but if you think that something should happen to her, then that's great. But Comey's not going to be the guy to do it. The FBI is not in charge of this. It's not their job to go after these kinds of things, right? Is what's going on here. But for some reason, none of the nobody here seems to get that. So someone in chat said no criminal charges because there was no ill intent, but there was negligence, so some sanction should apply. No, sure. So that's a fair thing, but again, it's not the FBI's job to enact those sanctions. That would be like the State Department or the DOJ. That's not the FBI that's supposed to do it. The FBI did their little investigation on their one thing to see if they could recommend criminal charges to the DOJ, and they did their investigation, and they decided not to recommend criminal charges based on the fact that they couldn't find malicious intent behind what Hillary was doing. That's it. So the FBI's job is done, right? Are you playing Rust? Oh, I have to wait for the XP system to go live, which should hopefully happen within the next hour or two or three. Now, the DOJ could still press charges if they wanted to, or the DOJ could do other things, but the yeah, so like, hold on, let me, fuck. I'm only talking about this to the best of my understanding, based on everything I've read literally in the past 24 hours. So, like, the problem with this, okay? One email with classified info warned colleagues of danger, forced out of Marines. Hillary Clinton, 110 emails with classified info used for personal convenience, no charges. So, look, the problem is, which one of these is not like the other one? Forced out of the Marines is not criminal charges. Okay, forced out of the Marines is not criminal prosecution by the DOJ, right? That's an internal behavioral thing, right? Whether you should have your clearances revoked, whether you should be administrative leave or fired from a job or prevented from ever sanctioned from further clearance, whatever, that's not a criminal charge, right? Forced out of the Marines is not a criminal charge like what people are looking for Hillary here, right? This is an internal thing. So these two things aren't the same. Did you see the apology made by the CSGO Lotto dude? No, fuck. Everybody involved with gambling on Twitch is a scumbag piece of shit. I hate all of it. I don't know, but no one gives a fuck. I don't care about any of it. I've never cared about any of it. Destiny, want to hit GBK Liz up with that friend request? I don't know why you always pretend to be a girl online. I never talk to people that are going to do that. Fuck off, Heather. Kill yourself. I don't understand. Maybe it's because I have too much of an ego and I like to build my own identity online. I don't understand why you would create an online persona, make a female name for it, and then act like a female 24/7, and then you know every day that everybody on Rustopia knows you, or I guess half the people do, and then half the people know you're a guy. That seems very strange to me. Go F request someone else. Fuck off. What if Hillary isn't allowed to handle classified info as president? Nice meme. But again, that wouldn't be something for the FBI to decide. This hearing seems like a giant waste of time. This is actually, I think that one Democrat dude was right. This is all political theater right now.
Basically to remove them from the lawyers, from the servers, to wipe them away.
Okay, so in other words, the effort was not just Mrs. Clinton or somebody went delete, delete, delete. They went above and beyond that so that your top technical experts could not get back at these emails, correct?
Right, not fully. We were able to, by going...
You recovered a few.
Yeah, we could go through the lawyers' laptops and see some, but not fully.
I don't understand how the lawyers were allowed to parse these emails without security clearances. I don't understand that. Does anybody here have an idea of why that's allowed? If you're a lawyer and you're doing a case that involves clearance-related information, why would you be allowed to parse information without getting a clearance yourself? That seems kind of strange, no?
I think the way the process worked is she had emails that were just on her system. She actually had deleted some, I think, over time, as an ordinary user would. And then the State Department...
They may have had a security clearance, considering they're lawyers for the SBS. No. Or, I'm sorry, they might have, but Comey specifically said that the lawyers did not possess clearances. Comey said that directly. I've heard him say that directly. So I don't believe... So it's possible he could be wrong, in which case I don't know, but he stated that the lawyers did not have clearances.
Anymore. It's then that they issued the direction that the technical people delete them.
Do you think Mrs. Clinton knew that the technical people were erasing these emails so that even your top technical experts could recover them?
Based on my sense now of her technical sophistication, I don't think so.
You don't think the lawyers told her that that's what they were doing, erasing all these emails that everybody on this committee wanted to look at?
Yeah, and I'm sure we've asked this.
What type of lawyer wouldn't tell their client they were doing that? But
Are you a lawyer,
I think
Mr.
Our
Grothman?
evidence from our investigations, they did not. That they asked her, do you want to keep them? And they said no, and they said wipe them away.
okay. Now, as I understand it, the goal was just to erase personal emails, but you've recovered emails that wouldn't be
Oh,
considered
fuck, you got a lot of great.
personal
Never
emails
mind.
at all.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know that you didn't recover them, but based upon the emails,
Where is apples at? If you received a law degree, does that mean you actually passed the bar exam and everything to get that degree, or do you get the degree then pass the bar exam to become a lawyer?
emails that dealt with the Clinton Foundation or dealt with the Benghazi scandal, is it possible because of what our lawyers did that they were erasing things that were incriminating, maybe involving items that you yourself were not particularly investigating, but that these have now been destroyed forever?
Yes, it's possible. As I said in my statement on Tuesday, we did not find evidence to indicate that they did the erasure to conceal things of any sort. But it's possible, as I said on Tuesday, that there are work-related emails that were in the batch that were deleted.
I'm sorry, when you go to this length to make sure you can never recover the emails who are erased, wouldn't you think the intent is to make
Intent.
sure nobody ever looks at them again? Why otherwise when you just go delete,
I
delete,
think,
delete?
thank the gentleman. We'll give the director time to, if he wants to respond.
Sure. I mean, I guess it's a bit circular. You delete because you want to delete. But what I mean is, we didn't find any evidence of evil intent, an intent to obstruct justice there.
I think this is a valid.
I think
Because you don't know it was deleted, but
I think that's a valid line of questioning. So the only thing left here to address is the intent, right? If you believe that there was malicious intent, then that's a valid thing to ask about. Now, whether the FBI should do other things besides recommend criminal charges when it's not their place to do so is stupid. But I think that it's a valid line of questioning to say, why did the lawyers try so hard to make it impossible to figure out what emails they deleted and how they parsed them? That's very strange to me, right? I don't understand that. That's something that I don't understand. That I think that looks really bad on why the lawyers tried so hard to cover their tracks. But I don't know enough about it.
In the Bureau, and I did hold one when I was in the United States Army in a career of service. I handle classified information here, but if I held that in the FBI and you discovered that I mishandled state secrets on a private server in my basement, would I be trusted by the Bureau to further handle top secret?
So again,
SCI
it's not the FBI's
information?
job to say. It's not the FBI's job to say.
Maybe
for
not.
Hillary
You
Clinton.
go immediately through a security process to review whether you should continue working for us, and if you do, what clearances you should retain.
If I violated the handling of state secrets in the FBI, would you consider me the best suitable candidate for promotion and higher responsibility?
But it's not for the FBI to say.
would
Hillary
be a
Clinton doesn't
serious
work for the
concern, and we would stare at
FBI.
it.
Hillary Clinton doesn't work for the FBI. Why is he asking these questions?
Although you have recommended to the Department of Justice that no criminal charges be brought to bear, are you recommending to the Department of Justice that there be no consequences? For
No, he didn't
mishandling
say that at
state
all.
secrets?
No.
No, my recommendation was solely with respect to criminal charges.
What would you recommend?
It's not his place to say.
I don't think it's for me to recommend.
You've been very open and even stated why you felt that these were unique sets of circumstances that called for greater transparency.
In the
You
FBI's
do make
process of looking.
recommendations, routinely, as you've stated here today. We're talking top secret SCI information that's been mishandled. You would take a dim view to that if I were an agent. What consequences? This is what the American people feel exasperated about. There seems to be no consequence.
The consequences aren't for the
in
FBI
a
to
case
say.
like this,
It's not the
if going
thing.
to
What
be
the
criminal
fuck?
Charges recommended. What are the American people to do to hold their officials accountable if maybe they shouldn't be trusted for further promotion and higher responsibility?
And what I meant earlier is that's not a question that the American people should put to the FBI director. I can answer about the things within my remit, but I understand the question, but it's not one for me to answer in my role.
Well, I hope it's one that the American people answer in the future, because we do have a choice about those that would mishandle information. And while we're all fallible human beings and we all make mistakes, in a case like this, I mean, for decades of my service in the Army Infantry and handling top secret SCI information, and then as a member of Congress, we know those responsibilities. Is it your view and others that have interviewed Mrs. Clinton that she would not have known what those responsibilities were?
No, I think in a way you would expect she understood the importance of protecting classified information.
Well, I would agree with that.
Destiny, the FBI shouldn't have said anything other than we didn't find anything other than saying we don't recommend that you pursue the indictment. I don't know. I think that the FBI has done a good job here at being very transparent. I think the Comey guy has done a really good job at answering questions. But the people on this bench or whatever
Republican government
are just really, really, really dense. I think that this is...
And with that,
I don't know. Never
thank you
mind.
for your appearance here today, and I would like to yield the remainder of my time to Chairman Chaffetz.
Thank you. I think if you yield back, through mutual agreement, Mr. Cummings and I have agreed that I do have about a dozen or so quick follow-up questions. You've been most generous with your time, but I would like to get through these last bit. And again, we'll do so with equal time. How did the Department of Justice, or how did the FBI view the incident in which Hillary Clinton instructed Jake Sullivan to take the markings off of a document that was to be sent to her?
Yeah, we looked at that pretty closely. There was some problem with their secure fax machine, and there's an email in which she says, in substance, take the headers off of it and send it as a non-paper. As we've dug into that more deeply, we've come to learn that
Hold on, nitrogen dioxide. I'll respond to you in a second.
A non-paper in State Department parlance means a document that contains things we could pass to another government. So essentially take out anything that's classified and send it to me. Now, it turned out that didn't happen because we actually found that the classified fax was...
Fuck this, okay. Destiny, but you said it's not his place to say things and compare Hillary to an FBI dude, but he did when he made his judgment and gave a recommendation. No. The only thing the FBI is here to do is to recommend criminal charges to the DOJ. That's all the FBI is here to do. The FBI did their investigation, and they found no criminal intent in what Hillary did, so the FBI does not recommend criminal charges be brought to Hillary Clinton. That's all the FBI does. He didn't say if she should suffer no consequences. He didn't say that the State Department or the DOJ couldn't go after her for other things. It's just that under the FBI in particular, they do not recommend criminal charges on this issue. That's it. That's all the FBI has to say. That's not their place to go any farther to prosecute State Department employees. It's just not their job. That's not what the FBI exists for. Destiny, I'm an attorney and handle discovery requests for a living. It takes some really incompetent work to delete the original emails/documents after a request for production is delivered. You'll typically do the review of the requested documents on a platform like Relatively, which allows you to assign metadata to documents to see if they're responsive, but ensures nothing gets destroyed. This process that you describe at the end is what the lawyers did for Hillary's case. I don't remember if Comey said it himself or if I read about it, but apparently what the lawyers did was they used like search terms to go through all of the emails to figure out which ones were related to secret shit or whatever, and then they use those search terms to determine what should be turned over to the FBI or not. And then everything that they had deemed wasn't relevant, that didn't pop up on whatever search terms or metadata they searched for, those emails were then deleted. I don't know why at that point, but... Destiny, do you think it's their place to recommend anything? Why not just lay out the facts? They were specifically requested by the DOJ to do an investigation to see if they would recommend criminal charges against Hillary Clinton after their investigation. They did their investigation. They didn't find anything worthy of recommending criminal charges for, and then the FBI reported just as much to the DOJ. That's it. The FBI said, I mean, just that. They're not going to recommend criminal charges. Like, that's it.
He set it up.
That's a different question. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question then. Yeah, there's no doubt that uncleared people had access to the server, because even after Pagliano, there were others who maintained the server who were private sector folks.
So there are hundreds of classified documents on these servers. How many people, without a security clearance, had access to that server?
I don't know the exact numbers. I sit here.
A lot.
It's probably more than 2, less than 10.
Oh, okay. More than 2, less
I
than 10.
appreciate your willingness to follow up with this. Did Secretary
TSSCI,
Clinton's
right? Like,
attorneys
okay.
have the security clearances needed?
No.
They did not.
That's what I was talking about
Does
earlier.
that concern you?
The lawyers did not have the security clearances to go through these
Is there any
things.
consequence to an attorney rifling through Hillary Clinton's emails?
That's not what the
without a
FBI was
security clearance?
investigating. That wasn't what the FBI was
Well,
looking
not
at.
necessarily criminal consequences, but there's a great deal of concern about an uncleared person not subject to the requirements we talked about in the read-in documents potentially having access. That's why very, very important for us to recover everything we can back from attorneys.
So what's the consequence? I mean, here, Hillary Clinton gave access.
It's not for the FBI to decide. It's not for the FBI to decide. It's not for him to answer.
That were classified.
Yeah, I think that's what happened in fact. Whether that was the direction is a question I can't answer, Sidney.
Who determines the consequences? The State Department or the DOJ can.
You're parsing that one a little bit for
No,
me.
no, you were just asking me. I don't
What's
know.
the consequence? They don't work for the government. We can't fire them.
Right.
So is there no criminal prosecution of those attorneys? Should they lose their bar license? What's the consequence to that?
Well, if they acted with criminal intent or acted with some malintent,
What you're telling us is it doesn't matter if you have a security clearance or not.
That's not what he's
Because I may be
saying.
innocent enough. Hey, I'm just an attorney. I like the secretary. I'm trying to help Hillary Clinton. I'm not trying to give it to the Chinese or the Russians. I'm just trying to help her. So
Why doesn't he just say it's not his jurisdiction? I don't know. I wish he would say that. I wish he would use that word. I wish he would say that.
that's why I said that.
But there's no consequence, Director. There's no consequence.
Well, I don't know what consequence you'd have in mind. Very important.
Prosecute them.
An attorney for receiving from his client information that ends up being classified.
I asked you at the very beginning, is there a reasonable expectation that Hillary Clinton would send and receive, if not daily, hourly, if not daily, classified information? That's reasonable to think that the Secretary of State would get classified information at every moment. She's not the head of Fish and Wildlife. So the idea that she would turn over her emails, her system, her server to what it sounds like up to 10 people without security clearances, and there's no consequence. So why not do it again?
That's a question I don't think you should put to me. You're
It's
asking
not the
about my
FBI.
criminal obligation.
It's not up to
How can
him.
that- There's no intent there? Does she not understand that these people don't have security clearances?
Intent for what?
Stands, at least some of them don't have security clearances.
So if she understands they don't have security clearances, and it's reasonable to think she's going to be in classified information, is that not intent to provide a non-cleared person access to classified information?
You're mixing it up, though. I don't think it's reasonable to assume, mixing me up, sorry, it's not your fault, that someone who is maintaining your server is reading your emails. In fact, I don't think that's the case here. There's a separate thing, which is when she's engaging counsel to comply with the State Department's request, are her lawyers then exposed to information that may be on there that's classified? So,
And did they see any classified information? Did Hillary Clinton's attorneys, without security clearances, see classified information?
I sit here, I don't know the answer to that.
It has to be yes, Director. You came across 110, and they said they went through all of them.
No, they searched via metadata. That's
So
not
their
true.
excuse is,
That's not
we
true.
saw the emails, but we didn't read them.
No, I think I said this in my statement on Tuesday. They sorted the emails
Via metadata.
using headers and search terms to try and find work-related emails. We read them
Yeah.
all.
Yes.
I know that you read them all. Do you think it's reasonable or unreasonable to think that her attorneys, under her direction, did or did not read those emails?
It doesn't matter. It's not.
If
That's
there
not.
were- let me go back to this. Yes or no? Were there or were there not classified emails that that Hillary Clinton's attorneys read?
I don't know whether they read them at the time.
They,
They've
did Hillary Clinton give non-cleared people access to classified information?
Yes.
What do you think her intent was?
Oh shit, dude.
Then was to get good legal representation and to make the production to the State Department. think it'd be a very tall order in that circumstance. I don't see the evidence there to make a case that she was acting with criminal intent in her engagement with her lawyers.
And I guess I read in criminal intent as the idea that you allow somebody without a security clearance access to classified information. Everybody knows that, Director. Everybody knows that. I've gone way past my time. Let me recognize Mr. Cummings for an equal amount of time.
Director, thank you for your patience. I want to clear up some things. I want to make sure I understand exactly what you testified to on the issue.
People are getting way too emotional in this shit.
Wow.
Do you think the guy that made the server isn't going to get criminal charges because he was the one that gave the FBI access to the emails? That is correct. The person that was responsible for setting up the server was granted immunity by the FBI in order to cooperate with the investigation, so no charges can be brought against him. Or some charges aren't allowed to be brought against him. I don't know the specific deal of immunity that he made with the FBI. I don't know if they would ever even release that. But that is correct, that nothing should be brought against him. Does this change anything in your view on who you would vote for the presidential election? No, I still am gonna probably not vote, or maybe I'll go vote for the Gary dude. I don't know anything about him though. Fuck politics in the United States. It's a huge fucking waste of time. What would be worse, 4 years of Trump or 8 years of Hillary? The president has limited influence over the state anyway. It's not like that having a president is going to destroy. Like even if we had 8 years of Trump, I don't think it would destroy the United States in a couple years. Like.
So I want to make sure we're clear on this. Can you tell us why, Director Comey, did you consult, and we're just curious, did you consult with the State Department about these 3 emails out of the more than 30,000? Did this just not come up? What happened there?
Yeah, I'm not remembering for sure while I'm here. I'm highly confident we consulted with them and got their view on it. I don't know about what happened yesterday. Maybe that their view has changed or they found things out that we didn't know. But I'm highly confident we consulted with them about it.
So this is totally different than what we understood yesterday. Today we learned that these emails were not in fact classified. They should not have been included. They should have not included those stray markings. They were not properly marked as classified, and the director of the FBI believes it was reasonable.
Destiny, don't you think the Supreme Court appointment would be important for him? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. The most important job. Well, can I really say that? One of the most important jobs, probably top 3 jobs that the President of the United States has, probably top 2 jobs, short of what, like commanding the military, commander-in-chief, is probably Supreme Court justice appointees. That's a really good point. And in that case, I would trust Hillary Clinton a million times over Donald Trump in terms of appointing a good Supreme Court judge. At this point, I almost say I would trust anybody on the left over anybody on the right, although I'm not sure. I would have to look at the specific individuals, but yeah, I think that Hillary would do a better job, as much as I hate to say it, than Trump in terms of appointing Supreme Court justices.
Yes.
Today, tens of thousands of Secretary Clinton's emails are publicly available on the State Department's website. And our staff have been reviewing the emails that were retroactively determined to include classified information. Based on this review, it appears that these emails included more than 1,000 individuals who sent or received the information that is now redacted as classified. Let me make that clear. About 1,000 people sent or received the same information that was contained in Secretary Clinton's.
I think it's even likely that a Hillary appointee would overturn Citizens United. Citizens United is, man, that shit needs you need to get 100 really intelligent people in a room and you really need to hash it out. I would really love to see super intelligent people discussing the ins and outs of Citizens United. On one hand, it's very easy to say that I don't think that companies should be allowed to throw a fuck ton of money at somebody in order to get them elected. But then on the other hand, you are literally cucking somebody's free speech, First Amendment right. Okay, well, because I'm wealthy, I'm not allowed to put money towards a politician. That's kind of bullshit. But then on the other hand, you have FEC regulations that determine how much money you're like. I feel like those are all really, really complicated issues. I would really love to see some very intelligent people, meaning not the fucking retards in Congress, but like fucking lawyers and PhDs in law and shit, get together and really hash out what the best solution is for something like that. Like, I think that Citizens United, that's a very, very complicated free speech question. A lot of people try to present a simple answer to that, but it's really not. I think it's really not as simple as even maybe I have presented it in the past. I think that Citizens United is a pretty complicated thing. Destiny, is this conference basically, we know you covered these topics in your investigation, but we're going to go you about it anyways. This conference is proving that every single Republican on this bench doesn't understand what jurisdiction means, and everybody here is looking for the FBI to do things that's not within their power to do. It's pretty much what this is. Political theater, I guess, is what you would call
The
it.
secretary, we looked at their conduct. Probably, I forget what the number is, 4 or 5 of them. But then the hundreds of others who may have been on the chains were not the subjects of the investigation.
I think I have 30 more seconds. I understand that Secretary Clinton is the only one running for president, but it does not make sense that she was singled out for a referral to the FBI. Do you agree with that?
I don't think I agree with that.
Okay, so you.
The best solution is you can sponsor politicians all you want, but every dollar must be disclosed with consequences for hiding sponsor money. But that's the thing. Like, let's say that Hillary Clinton is running for president and I want her to become president, but I don't want to give her money directly. Maybe I'm just going to give money to a company to help them advertise a documentary about how horrible her adversary is, right? Which is what Citizens United was about, right? Should you not be allowed to spend money advertising a documentary? Like, isn't that kind of like, where's your free speech at that point, right? But then on the flip side, right, elections oftentimes are just decided by who has the most money to throw at a particular election. Like, advertising is very, very, very fucking important, right? Hillary understands that really well. That's why Hillary has targeted ads running in all 50 states, and fucking Trump is dragging his knuckles on that shit and has hardly anything running and thinks that the free media is going to continue to fucking... But I mean, like, advertising and having political ads and whatnot are a very, very, very important part of any campaign. It's just, well, all I'm trying to say is that... Destiny, free speech can be limited to further a compelling state interest, integrity in public elections, a compelling state interest. Yeah, sure, Apple is. But, I mean, Apple is. Even you have to agree, right, that it's a very difficult question on where you draw that line, right? That's an incredibly difficult question to answer. Like, to say, like, this is where your free speech stops and the state interest begins. Like, to get that exact line is, like, very, very, very difficult, right? Aren't you worried if you / a lot of liberals like you don't get behind Hillary, Trump might win? Hillary's going to win regardless, because Hillary's going to get the minority vote, and Hillary's going to get the vote of women, and Hillary's going to get the vote of a lot of Democrats, the majority of Democrats. That's why Hillary's going to win. Trump will never gain minority support because he's already proven that he's too stupid to do it. Trump is hated by women, and he's too stupid to answer any question that would make women hate him less. And he's even fractured the Republican Party because he can't just be not stupid. Trump masqueraded as somebody masquerading as an idiot, when in reality, he's just an idiot. like his political positions aren't nuanced. He has a very poor grasp of foreign and domestic policy. He has a very poor grasp of how to conduct himself on TV. His stance on social issues is confusing at best. He just doesn't have what it takes to run in a general election. Like, that's it. Didn't some of the protest voters in Brexit say the same thing? Comparing Brexit to the United States general election are apple and oranges. We've got tons of polling data for the general election here. This election coming up doesn't appear to be anywhere near as close as the Brexit vote kind of appeared to be. I mean, if you want to keep comparing it to that, it's fine. We'll just wait for the election to happen to see where the chips fall. Are we done? Is this poor Comey dude done yet?
Who were subjects communicating with her through that email system.
What recommendations did you make about her aides?
Same. We didn't recommend that anybody be prosecuted on those facts.
I think after this election, it'll be really interesting to watch, seeing which direction both parties / Supreme Court go. Well, the Democrats don't have to do anything. I said this a million times. I wanted to make a YouTube video on this. The Democrat Party, as it exists right now, is actually pretty good. The only hang-up right now is that Hillary Clinton is probably the worst politician of all time. But aside from Hillary Clinton, I think the Democratic Party right now functions very well. If you're a left-leaning person in the United States of America and you believe in a little bit more socialist policy in your democracy, see. I think that the Democrat Party suits you very well. You've got a lot of people. You've got the Obama, the Bidens, your people that stand up like Elizabeth Warren and, these kinds of people that you can feel pretty good about getting behind. You might not agree with every single thing they say, but for the most part, you feel pretty good being a Democrat, right? But the Republican Party right now only appeals to you if you are regressive in all of your beliefs, like intellectually speaking. And when I say that is, I'm talking about like the intellectual suicide the Republican Party commits every time the stance that they have on evolution, teaching creationism in schools, the denial of global warming, and then the crazy regressive policies they have socially on things like legalization of drugs, gay marriage, abortion rights, women's rights to choose, things like that. It make it so that in order to be, if you're a right-leaning individual, you don't really have a party for you that exists right now in the United States. You have to go third party, which is fucked, right? That sucks. If you're somebody that believes that government in the United States should be a small and limited thing, and I believe economically that, businesses should get to keep most of their money, it's not right that the government should raise taxes to, just because I make a lot of money, I shouldn't be penalized on it. If you believe in those policies economically, there is no party that represents you unless you're also willing to buy into the extreme anti-intelligence, anti-academic, anti-scientific everything, and pro-religious, regressive social policy that are the right wing right now in the United States, right? So the Republican Party is really, really, really fucked. Destiny, the Republican Party has a massive following. Yeah, but the Republican Party has been dying out for the past 2 decades. No young people. Like, young people today are more and more and more. Like, every generation becomes a little bit more left-leaning, which is sad because I think that there is a space in American politics for a conservative party. And I think that having a strong conservative party is good because it reins in the left party. Our entire government in the United States of America is built around a system of checks and balances. No particular branch of government can do too much, right? Which is good. But if the Republican, or if the president is left-leaning and the entire Congress is left-leaning, the entire country becomes left-leaning because there's just no sane right-wing party that somebody could be a part of, I think that that's a disservice. That does a disservice to the entire country, in my opinion. Do you think Trump believes in evolution? Probably not. I don't believe so. Trump is probably a creationist, but I've never seen anything to say that. I'm just assuming. I'm not sure. We can Google it and look. He said so many evangelical things in the past that it makes me hard to believe that he would believe in evolution, but I don't know. Yeah, if you're socially left and fiscally right-leaning, there is nobody for you right now in the United States, which I believe could describe a lot of younger people. What do you think is going to happen to the Republican Party after this election? Do you think it will split or just realign? It can't split because it's fucked. It needs to realign. But will it actually do it? I don't know. There needs to be a strong... I don't know. You need a strong voice in the Republican Party, and a young, strong voice. Somebody like a Rubio to come up with some left-leaning social positions who still wants to be fiscally conservative. But I don't know if anyone in the Republican Party will actually do that. I'm not sure. Did you watch that Comey shit, Apple?
Yeah, I mean,
it seems like people have
legislators who don't know what legal standards are.
Yeah, well, the most annoying part was people were asking like the FBI to do like internal punishments for the State Department. Like, I don't. Why? Can you tell me why didn't Comey just say, like, at some point he should have went full Martin Shkreli and every answer should have just been, "I'm sorry, this is not the FBI's jurisdiction. I'm sorry, this is not the FBI's jurisdiction. I'm sorry, this isn't the FBI's." Like, I don't know why he didn't just start repeating that verbatim. Like, he seemed to be really cordial and really friendly throughout that entire fucking emergency hearing or whatever. But holy shit! Every single time a Republican get on, like, so are you saying there should be no consequences? Really? Like, no, he's not saying that. It's not his fucking job to tell the State Department or the fucking DOJ like what to do. He's only recommending criminal charges, like a very basic like thing. Holy shit.
Well, like the only thing I didn't really like in that thing is like he said that Hillary shouldn't be like reprimanded at all for like gross negligence and like,
no. He said specifically the only thing that Comey said, and I watched almost the entire thing. The only thing Comey said was that the FBI was not going to recommend criminal charges be brought against Hillary Clinton in regards to the email shit. That's all he said. Now, whether or not she should have her clearances revoked or whether or not there should be some punishment that comes down from the State Department or the DOJ, that's up for them to decide. But the FBI's criminal investigation, what their recommendations based on that were all he was authorized to do. Like, he can't go to the State Department and tell them to do anything more or whatever.
I mean, the reason why, I mean, a lot of this is pretty funny because he was in office, or like, you know, he was in the government during the Bush administration, and there was a lot of shady email shit that went on there too. If you look at what
I've
Alberto
heard
Gonzalez did and all that shit.
I've
Oh my
heard
God.
of shady email shit, but all of it seemed to just be kind of like old people stupid technology, like people using
I
Gmail
don't know.
accounts
There
and
was
shit.
like there were all these people with RNC accounts, right? There were all these government people in the White House with Republican National Committee convention email accounts, and they were doing government work on those. And the RNC wiped all of them because they didn't have an obligation to keep any of that shit because they're not the government. And I don't know, there was some shady shit going on there too.
I don't know. I feel like what Hillary Clinton did was a step further. Like when you go out of your way
it was
to.
it was
true,
really
like-
fucking absurdly stupid.
Yeah.
And
I don't understand how there has to be something I don't know. That just seems unbelievable to me that you could do like the top secret level information and I don't understand that at all. Like something I don't understand. Something has to happen. But it won't, I know, but like holy shit.
nope, nothing's gonna happen, mate.
Yeah, but like that's crazy, right? Like you agree that that's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all politicized anyway. I mean, did you
I
really expect
know.
anything to
Well, but I
happen?
mean, nothing is politicized about TSSCI information. Like you fucking when you're literally like leaking like top secret
It still is.
information.
It's still
Yeah, I
politicized.
politicize. Yeah, I guess so. But that's insane to me that you could just walk out like when any other job, if you would walk out with the dumbest fucking shit, like you would instantly be shit canned. Like if you were to take a flash drive out of like a secured facility like that or offsite or whatever, like I don't know.
I mean,
that's-
that dude in the fucking Navy that happened.
that got fucking instantly fired for it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was he like took something from like Afghanistan to like his house and he like deleted it all and then fucking they threw him in jail.
Well, that's like what's his face did, Snowden, right? He put all that shit
Well,
out.
no,
Well, Snowden disseminated it to the
you
public,
Could definitely
like-
show, you
Yeah.
could definitely show intent there.
Yeah.
Like,
Snowden
guys?
should have just put it on a. He should have just put it on his own email server and had WikiLeaks hack it.
yeah.
What is up?
I feel like.
actually get into the email.
Wait, what's up?
The hackers actually get into the email. I had like some stories about hackers getting
No,
into the
they
email.
didn't.
but I was skeptical.
Almost definitely. Apple is. Come on.
I don't think they actually
Like,
did.
Almost
Well, no,
definitely. like
The
99%.
FBI even kind of avoided the question. They even say,
No, Comey pretty made it much more clear than he had to that Hillary Clinton accessed her information in countries with hostile actors that had the sophisticated cyber technology to commit the attacks that would have gained
Well, like,
access to our
he
servers.
didn't
Like he
outright say
specific.
she
No,
did,
no.
though.
Oh no,
Like,
he didn't
that
outright say it because they could never say that outright
Yeah.
because they don't have. But not only did he say that they can't outright say that, he went a step further and said that if those attacks had been launched against her services, that the sophistication of those hostile actors would not have allowed them to know that those attacks had been launched anyway. Like he went like plenty of steps further than he had to make those statements, such that it's almost 100% clear that that information would have been gained by anybody that was looking at the time. And he took it another step further even and said that it was common knowledge that Hillary Clinton was operating out of her own public server or out of her own private server, that people knew of this, that wasn't even
Like-
private information. Like,
That's kind of what I meant by like dodging the question. Like I think the specific question was, can you prove that her email server was
Yeah, no,
hacked? And
yeah,
he said,
but-
I can't prove it wasn't hacked. And
sure, yeah. But I mean, it was kind of a bullshit question because he can't say that, like, oh, yes, for sure, I know for a fact that Putin, yesterday was looking up her emails. Like, nobody can say that for sure, but he left enough breadcrumbs out there that it's very obvious that anybody that wanted to gain access to that email would have gained access to that email, right?